High-grade Gafran. Hey, it's Robert184. The plates are empty. It's time to take a look at the completed parts. Here's the main body parts. You'll get 2 wings and the tail/beam rifle. And for extras, don't expect much besides the second set of hands. At the bottom, don't expect too much color variety in the legs because you're just going to be getting, yes, that dark gray/black. In terms of the bends though, you're going to be able to bend it up here. You'll notice that it's on a very deep joint. The joint is actually attached up here and it's on a pivot mechanism, which is sort of interesting. Down below it can also go like this, so you're going to get a bend of pretty much 180, but here's the problem. When you put it up together, this part can bend forward and back, which means that it's really hard to get this lined up just right. So when it's actually in its human-esque form, I wonder if that's going to cause any problems. The feet fit inside on a semi-solid polycap there, which means that you're not going to get much movement there at whatsoever, especially off to the side. But they do have this mechanism that you can bend this forward and create the claws when it's actually in its dragonish mode. Really, with knees that bend this much too much forward and ankles that don't move at all off to the side, or really front to back more than this, I think that these feet actually could cause a fair bit of problems unless you keep it up aerial. The simplicity of the kit continues on here, where you're pretty much just going to have these to attach the legs on and a solid blue piece in the front. No seals, just a little bit of lining slapped in. Putting this together, my real biggest disappointment was just in terms of the chest, because I think it actually looks good. It's got good design, some raised parts there for some differentiation in terms of texturing. But where is the clear green part that I was so excited about on the A-plate? Yes, it's practically invisible. Even if you shine a light on it, there's no piping or anything. You have to catch it at exactly the right angle to even have a chance of seeing it. So the fact that it's so far recessed, they could have cheated and had it further out. But at this point, it might as well just be a black part or a hole or a sticker. You're getting nothing out of that. Now, in terms of the mechanics, you're going to have the back is going to move like this. This is where you're going to attach on the wings and the beam rifle. And the shoulders were actually okay because they bend forward a fair bit, which is going to be used in the transformation. And one of the more unique necks, especially in a high-grade kit, the way the head goes on here, pretty much from behind, which should work well when it transforms again. The arms are going to give you blue at the top and the bottom, but nothing in between, not even gray for the elbows, which you don't miss until it's gone. Up here for the shoulders, you've got 2 big parts, and then you put this end on there, so you've actually got, this is a seam line, but this is just line, and they actually work pretty well together, I think. Down here for the elbow, you're going to have a bend like this, and it will rotate all the way around, but down at the wrists, don't expect anything fancy. You can see the splits right there on the front. But where I was happy was with the Vulcans, where you can actually have the hands. You do get a different colored part down there, and this part, because it's on a ball joint, can move around, so it actually can look somewhat dynamic when it's shooting. Again, it's just disappointing that there's no beam saber to put in here. For the hands, here are your choices. You're going to have the closed one with the fingers in. These are the same left or right hands, and as are these. A little bit disappointing. You'd think that they differentiate the thumbs there. But hey, with 2 opposable thumbs, can anybody stop this unidentified enemy? Not a lot of parts here for the wings, but in terms of the mechanism, you can open this part up, and otherwise it's going to come in like this, attach on, and you can see how this front part is going to start to serve as the skirt. And because it's just on a round polycap there, this can move around a fair bit. Just don't expect the wings to do much more than open and close this way. To the tail, which you don't see in too many Gundam designs, but I do like the fact that you're going to get this part here. Lots of good lining opportunities in there if you want to put that in or mix up the colors. In terms of the bend though, this is going to bend like this before it attaches in, and down below it's got another pivot point here in the middle, but it's the actual blaster itself where you've got a slide mechanism that actually locks into place fairly well. When you put this together, it's really, really simple. Outside of putting on these little triangle-ish pieces over here, don't expect too much differentiation, but so far it can move a fair bit. I look forward to seeing how it works in action. Despite my disappointment with some of the overly simplistic parts, the head sort of makes up for it. First of all, when you're putting it together, it's sort of interesting. You'll put 2 parts there on the side and then put in a middle part in there before putting in the 2 black parts, top and bottom, with the green sticker in between. Now the sticker really does stand out. Perhaps I was wrong in hoping for a clear part there, although you'd think that they'd give you the option, perhaps if you've already got clear green in the plate, but getting a small one in there, yes, as somebody mentioned, it can be quite difficult. One thing I'm not a big fan of is just the fact that we've got this. Should we not have a grunt Gafran that doesn't have that? All they have to do is give you 2 of these different head attach the domes here, and then you can choose whether to put this in or not. Even if it's not accurate to the anime age, it can be accurate to the Gundam mythos itself. Now, for the playability here, what you can do is open this up, which is going to come into play down here. When you attach the head, it's going to fit in, and when you transform it, these are going to become head-type wings. And I actually like the look of this head almost more so than the regular one. You've got seals here which are hidden when it's in its MS mode, but like I said, I think it looks pretty sharp, and the way it attaches in there will be the make or break. But I think this looks good, and I wonder if we can display it in MS mode without these huge parts hanging down. So from just the parts, I have to say that I'm a little bit underwhelmed. The colors you knew going in because there are only the 2 of them, and the fact that you can't see the clear green one, disappointing. But I'm a little bit worried about the legs and the knees. The arms seem to do the job. The beam rifle should work. The wings are incredibly simple. The head, it looks okay, and it's actually probably the best of a sort of sad bunch when you look at the parts. However, parts by themselves do not make anything to do with a Gundam, so stay tuned for the next part where it'll all be put together. Why don't you let me know what you think of the video and the parts themselves, and stay tuned to see the MS and it transformed and my verdict. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next part. You know, compared to some of the other suits like in Gundam X, you actually don't look all that alien. You know, no offense, but I think the biggest knock against you so far is that you've just got no personality. I'm talking about Jean, Slender, Char, and everybody else we saw in those early episodes. And what do you have? A crinkly green sound.